Well, hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another edition of Achiever Spotlight. Now, listen, I thank you, Felicia. I see that you went ahead and tagged some people, and I normally don't ask people to do that, but I am going to ask you today that if you have some people in your life that you want to share something good with that will help them live a healthier, more wholesome life, then I'm going to ask you to go ahead and share or tag someone. Well, send someone a text. Tell them to jump on this broadcast right now, either here on Facebook Live or on YouTube, because you do not want to be stingy with this information. You want to make sure that people are blessed by our guest today. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce her, and we're going to just jump right in. And as she and I were chatting yesterday afternoon, I said to her, I said, Dr. Nina, I think I feel another addition rising up in my spirit. So we probably are going to do a part two, because there is so much to unpack here and so much information to share. I want you also to feel free while we're talking to go ahead and put your questions in the chat. We'll deal with them as we go. Listen, this is Girlfriends. We're hanging out. We're just sharing. We're here to learn today, to grow, and to glean from the knowledge and expertise of this tremendous woman. So her name is Dr. Nina Cherie Franklin. Now, let me tell you very quickly about her credentials. She has a PhD in kinesiology, which is movement science. We're going to have her teach us something about that. She has a diploma in clinical massage therapy. She is a certified health coach. She's a certified group exercise instructor. She's a certified exercise physiologist and a certified clinical massage therapist. Listen, this woman comes with a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of expertise, a wealth of experience, and we are blessed and excited to have her here with us today. She is a healthy living coach, a globally recognized wellness expert, and the woman behind the blog and brand, That Salad Lady. We're going to hear all about that. Listen, you are going to want to jump on that before we leave here today. And so she is like you and I. She is an African-American woman. We can relate to that. She is a mother raising two sons in America. We can relate to that. So listen, we can just gather around the table electronically and let's spend some time learning from Dr. Nina Cherie Franklin. Let's bring her in. Hey, Dr. Nina, welcome and good afternoon to you. So excited to have you with us today.
So am I. I'm so excited to be here and chat with you all on this beautiful Saturday.
It is a beautiful Saturday. And I was trying to remember, I tell people all the time that I'm a social media stalker. And if I see someone doing something that piques my interest and I want to tap into it and I think they have something to offer, then I'll just reach out to them. I don't have to know them. I just have to say, look, will you share? Will you help us? And that's kind of what I did with Dr. Nina. I saw the work that she was doing. This goes back several years. And I reached out to her and said, listen, would you mind if I share you with our network? And she said, not at all. And so some of you who have been on our mailing list for years, remember her teaching us about movement and exercise and all of that. But she has evolved and she has morphed into so much more. And she's going to tell us all about it. So listen, I just want to give you the floor. I want you to tell us about the importance. Let me just sort of stage it. The importance of movement in our lives, because that's really your expertise, as well as what we eat and what we put in our bodies. I'll say this and then I really am going to stop. We know that we are body, we are soul, we are spirit, we are mind, we are intellectual beings. And those of us who are Christians many times just want to feed our spirit and our soul. We want to make sure we take care of that, but you are not one-dimensional and you need to be as healthy in your body as you possibly can be. And so we can learn how to do a better job with that. So that's why I am so grateful and thankful that Dr. Nina is here with us this afternoon, because she has the goods and can help us. So Dr. Nina, tell us, what is it that you feel is sort of a baseline? Where do we start trying to pull ourselves back together in terms of our health?
Well, I always tell people because so my PhD is actually in kinesiology, nutrition, and rehabilitation. And I went that route because everything is so connected. You know, we often think about just moving. And honestly, when it comes to New Year's resolutions and everything like that, the gym tells us that that's when we really think about movement. You can't get in the gym most of the time.
Right.
But what I generally always tell people is that you really can't exercise off a poor diet.
Wow.
And the issue is a lot of times we think in extremes. We go, you know, to one extreme with dieting, to one extreme with exercise. And we do that, we burn out and we stop. I will emphasize that one of the main things I've done as a healthy living coach is really teach people how to make very small changes, because what the small changes do is they lead to very big gains. And
I like that.
I mean, it's just the truth. You think I actually have an equation I use, you know, small changes plus time.
Don't forget the time piece.
Yes, plus time. Yeah. And so, and another thing I often emphasize, it's interesting. I've worked with a lot of people who have diabetes. My mother has type 2 diabetes. My father-in-law has type 2 diabetes. And I've worked with a lot of people, even with type 2 diabetes. And one of the things I always emphasize to them is the importance of moving extra. Just always moving. A lot of times we think about that exercise session in the gym. We say, oh, I went to the gym, I exercised for 30 minutes or an hour, you know, I'm done for today. But in spite of popular belief, it's not the fact that we exercise, it's the fact that we move regularly throughout the day. So if you're not moving throughout the day, even one exercise session is in vain, kind of if you're sitting the rest of the day. So one of the things I emphasize is get up, do something all the time. And in the case of people with diabetes, people at risk, or people who are trying to prevent it, I always say, as long as your body is moving, so is the glucose through your body.
Wow. Okay. Okay, that's good. So this is good already, you know, because I hear people say, and I've probably been guilty myself, you eat something that you know you shouldn't eat. And I heard people say, and I'm going to go walking. And I've said to myself, when I eat a big piece of cake, I'm going to have to walk to New York. I'm going to need to walk to New York from Florida to deal with this. So that's a myth, right? That we can eat badly and then exercise and reverse what that food did.
Most people underestimate what they eat and overestimate what they do. Okay. So, you know, so you'll say,
oh, you're hitting us hard.
You know, I mean, if you think about it, like I used to put these graphics up. I don't know if you remember, Pastor Faye, but it was a long time ago on my Facebook. I used to put this is equivalent to this. And so it would be like 60 minutes of this walking, you know, be a picture of someone walking is equivalent to this one piece of Halloween candy. And so usually people are like, oh, I don't do that all the time. I only eat it on special occasions. And then I go walking for an hour. But what they generally forget is, you know, you got the candy, but you ate 3 pieces, not 1. Or Thanksgiving is my favorite, because that's the holiday where everyone says, we only do this once a year, but you actually did it Thursday, Friday leftovers, Saturday leftovers, Sunday leftovers.
Yep, it's true.
Yeah,
it's absolutely true.
It's one of those things where I don't, and you'll learn even when I talk about that Salad Lady brand. One of the things that I emphasize is, let's just stop saying we're not going to do something. Right. Let's just stop saying, you know, this is the last time I'm going to take a bite of cake. This is the last time I'm going to eat a candy bar. Because what that does is it makes it, for sure, it's not going to be the last time that you do it, because you've kind of put it out there. But if you say, you know, I just like occasional candy. You know, I like to have a piece of cake on occasion. If you do that, you won't eat like it's the last time you're going to do it. You know what I mean? Because that's really what we do. Oh, I'm just going to, especially around this time of year, I'm just going to have this one big meal for New Year's Eve, and then I'll be done. You know, so.
Okay, so as we think about food, movement. Let me ask you, and I thought about this earlier today. Are there any, because you kind of touched on this already, are there any old wives' tales and myths that we believe, especially as people of color, that kind of have no basis in fact? Any come to top of mind?
Oh,
Around
hold on. Now you got me with that question because there are so many.
Yeah.
There's what where do you want me to frame it? Give me the subject. Seriously.
Well, let's think about even with food. I mean, we fry everything.
Oh yeah.
Right? We fry cornbread, we fry every kind of meat there is. We even fry vegetables sometimes.
Yes, we
And
do.
so we've grown up. Think, well, I've always done this, but you're looking at your weight grow. The reason it's doing that is because you've always done it. And to your point, though, we convince ourselves, well, yeah, that's just the way that's supposed to be.
That's what you got. You got me. Okay, so you put that into context. I call that habit forming. So as much as we don't think about it, we kind of think about habits, bad habits, good habits, whatever. But what we generally don't think about is, this is actually research proven, approximately 40 to 50% of the things that we think we're doing, or the things that we think we have control over, they're actually habits. I'll give you an example. I don't know how I'm originally from Chicago, and Auntie Anne's pretzels were very big in the mall.
Yes.
Is that it? So you kind of walk in.
I lived in Elgin for many years.
Okay, so you did exactly what I mean. So Auntie Anne's, these sweet pretzels. So you go to the mall, right? That whiff of cinnamon, no matter where you are, it seems, in the mall,
it grabs you. Yes.
You go and you get an Auntie Anne's pretzel. Now, what you've done is not necessarily, you probably even want a pretzel. As a matter of fact, if you didn't go to the mall, you wouldn't be finding an Auntie Anne's to even get a pretzel. Right. But what you've done is associated the mall with a pretzel. So every time you go to the mall, you get an Auntie Anne's pretzel. Every time you go to the movies, you have to have popcorn. It's Thanksgiving. We have to have red velvet cake. These are habits that we form. And so what I do as a healthy living coach is I teach people how to keep the routine, because the truth is we're going to have habits. That's how the brain works. That's our brains. Our brains are intellectually lazy. Our brains say, I need to make connections because it's too hard to think about this stuff. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't say, I'm going to put the toothpaste on my toothbrush, put it in my mouth. That's just a habit. And that's the same thing with our behaviors. So generally what I teach people to do is keep the habit. For movie theater popcorn, for example, I had that habit bad. That's why I knew about it. And so what I started doing was, instead of going to the movie theater and buttering up on that artificial butter and just, I don't know how old that stuff is, I sneak a little bag of Skinny Pop in my purse.
Yeah.
Because that's
so you have your popcorn.
Yes, but it's giving me my popcorn fix. I'm getting to move my mouth while I watch the movie, but I'm not tempted to go and get that big bucket of it. And I know I'm not supposed to be sneaking stuff in the movies, but hey, my waistline is on the line. But I've gone ahead and, inserted a better habit into a habit that's probably not going to go away.
So does that apply in a sense across the board? So because what I think I hear you saying is that it's a form of behavior modification. You're not trying to eliminate it completely because you can have it, but you find a healthier
so it's
a way that is better for you to have it.
Yes, you're fine, because you've already established the routine, right? This is the routine. So basically you say, instead of doing X, I'm gonna let me rephrase this. So I'll give an example of coffee at work. So you have coffees. A lot of people like to have coffee and a donut. So basically the routine, you're probably gonna have coffee in something, right? But instead of having that donut, over time, you may, progress. Not that it's any better, but you might go from a donut to a bagel. Not that it's any better, but it's a little better. And then from then you might go from a donut to like a homemade muffin or something a little better. Then you might go from a donut to some nuts. and some dried fruit.
Yeah.
And because the thing is, the routine may just be when you're on your way to work, you like to eat on something and drink on something. That's kind of the cue that triggers that habit. So if you keep a better, you're gonna have that cue. This is what this is called. That cue says, I want to drink something and eat something. It sounds really complex, but it's so simple. And basically what you ultimately do is when that trigger comes, you change, or that cue or that trigger comes, you change your routine. Right. I know I'm going to have the coffee. I'm going to change what I eat.
Right.
I have that coffee.
Okay. So, I think that listening to you, that there are a couple of things that come to mind. One is that you have to, as a person, and this goes back to just your overall health. I read something the other day that said, if you don't take care of your health now, or something to that effect, and I'm trying, I can't quote it exactly, but the gist of it was, if you don't do the things that you need to do now as a healthy person, you're going to pay the price later on as a sick person. Basically was the gist of it. So our habits are making us sick.
And you know what? I'm so glad you said that. It's a very good point. I always emphasize to people that it's not that single bad habit. It's that collection of habits together. Kind of like I said, we underestimate what we eat and overestimate what we do. We underestimate our habits. It's not a problem to have a slice of pizza, but I have to have my slice of pizza with beer. And I have to have, after I have that, I have to have something sweet to go after it. And then you just keep doing it all the time. Yeah. All the time. So it's that collection of habits over time that leads to problems. And we all know that with aging, habits are very difficult to break. As you age, they're getting next to impossible to break.
Wow, and they are strong. They are really strong.
And and honestly, we get hot-tempered about it when someone comes in there and dares us to change something that we normally do. I'm getting there myself. I'm going on 43 and I feel that kicking in a little bit now.
Well, let me tell you, it doesn't get better.
I know. And the killing thing does not get better. Pastor Faye, at a certain point, my youngest client was 55 and my oldest client was actually 103. So at a certain point, I worked with mostly geriatrics. I don't know what it was. I was actually 23 at the time. And I was like a senior magnet. They loved working with me and I loved working with them. But I loved working with them because of the wisdom they had. And I especially loved it because the same way I'm saying those habits are hard to break, when I was able to light bulb them and really get them in, they were the most devoted and most dedicated clients ever. But it was all about framing it to get them in. I think it kind of worked for me. Maybe I had a daughter-like appeal to them or something.
Yeah, sure.
But I didn't care what was doing it. I just knew once that light bulb hit with them, they were ready to change and they became some of the most devoted people to change.
It's interesting, and of course, everything that we're talking about, and people that are jumping on. Thank you all for being here this afternoon. Please, if you have any questions for Dr. Nina, put them in the chat. We don't have to wait until the end. We're just going to hang out and visit. But all of this certainly is personal. It is for the individual, and I think each of us have to take ownership of our own health and our level of commitment to being better. To being better at it, because as Black folk, we were not, and certainly from my age on back, we were not taught growing up about the importance of good eating habits and good nutrition. You ate fried bacon in the morning, and you ate fried whatever at lunch, and you ate fried whatever at dinner. And listen, and some of you that are on here now can relate to this. The fatter and plumper the baby was, the healthier they thought it was. So you grew up in an environment where the fatten that girl up. I remember years ago, I went on a diet and was taking diet pills, but I was going to a doctor, but still diet pills. And so I lost all this weight, and I really thought that, I had pulled it all together. I went home back. I was living in Delaware, went back home to Florida, and my aunt Edna, my father's sister, saw me. She burst out crying. Oh my God!
Yes.
I'm like, girl, what happened to you? I thought I was really looking.
Oh no! And you
thought that she said, you look awful. I'm like,
yes, they will do it.
Yeah.
One of the things, as with my background, I've kind of dabbled in every single diet and eating style, not to lose weight necessarily, but to be able to give like honest opinions to everything. Yeah. And I adopted a vegan diet, and it ended up going on for 3 years because I started having fun with the cooking, and it just kind of happened. But what I didn't realize, because I wasn't really paying any attention, I was also running 60 to 70 miles a week. So I got really thin. And I we kind of
were really thin when I first saw you, Dr. Nina. I mean, like this.
Yes. Yeah, I know. And I was running a lot around that time of year. This was actually, to be honest with you, by the time I met you, I had gained a little. It was worse. So wow. I went to Mississippi, to Tupelo, Mississippi, where my family is. And I had adopted the vegan diet. Now, you already know where this is going to go on a holiday
in Mississippi. Barbecue, everything.
And so I get there, and they were like, oh, what's wrong with your daughter, Gladys? Just kind of talking to my mother. And she said, oh, she doesn't eat any meat or anything. They said, oh, and my cousin was like, you want to eat this? And she just held on a piece of lettuce. And it was just, I was the mockery of the whole trip. And every time someone came in there, they said, oh, who is this? Is this Gladys's daughter? And I was just, now, granted, I was kind of thin. Even my husband told me I looked hungry. There is a balance, but the issue is what we do is we get so fixated on those views that, again, it trickles into that habit forming, cleaning your plate, I talk to people about mindful eating, and they're like, what? No way. Mm-hmm. I am mindful eating. If you don't know, is the notion of basically as you eat, you go through a whole process. You look at the food, you smell the food, you appreciate the food. This is all part of the digestive system. A lot of people don't get that. From the time you smell the food, what you're doing is you're allowing the enzymes that come out to process that food to do it. Carbohydrate digestion, a lot of people don't know, starts with that mere smell of a carbohydrate. So you do that, you go through the process, enzymes are out, they're all ready to come and digest that stuff, and then you eat, and you eat slowly. You chew your food, you appreciate what's in it, think about the nutrients, think about them coming out. So I talked to a group of folks that look like us, and they're like, by the time I do all that, I'm not going to want to eat. Yes. That's it.
All right. So talk to us about just a layman's, a novice's concept of nutrition. I mean, what? Because we don't think about nutrition. We think about taste. We think about smell. We think about feeling full, being full. I'm so we push back. I'm so full. Does that even make sense to eat to that point?
No, it doesn't. So I always tell people, it's a very cliche example. I'm going to answer that question, Felicia. That is one of my favorite questions. Give me 1 second to get through it. Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you, Felicia.
But one of the things that when I try to explain nutrition that way, I use, as simple as it sounds, a car example. And I'm not going to go all under the hood and stuff because I don't know anything about cars in that way. But I'm going to talk about premium fuel versus regular fuel. Food is food. Our bodies will take whatever you give to, whatever you put in it. And the bodies will run. But how will they run? Will they run at their maximum, or will they run just to kind of be? And I'm going to use a very practical example because it's actually a true story. My husband loves saltine crackers. Okay. It's just, if I bring those things in the house, he will just kind of sit and eat them. And just
I will too. Love them.
yeah. Yeah. You know what? Most people will say that, and I'll tell you why you love them in a second.
Okay.
So you take those saltine crackers, what's in them? Really nothing. Just, just some starch, some calories because of the starch. And your body will say, oh, okay, you're putting food in here. Okay. But here's the issue. Your body, I'm your body.
Yeah.
Here's the issue. I actually need some protein and I need some fat to go with this. So what I'm going to have you do is keep eating those crackers until I get everything I need. So you think that you're just eating the crackers. Your body is actually trying to pull something from those crackers. So what you do is just keep eating them. So let's say, just an example, let's say that your body wants 10 grams of protein. I'm making this very simple. That it wants 10 grams of protein. And let's say that there's 1 gram of protein and that's something you're eating. And that's all you're eating. And nothing else is coming. And your body has kind of got the memo that nothing else is coming. Your body will keep eating until it reaches that point. Then it'll reach that point of protein. But the problem is you also got all this starch in there with it. And all this fat, none good fat, but just random fat in here to go with it. So the starch is going to start doing its thing. It's this a sugar rush, your blood sugar, your insulin levels are going to go up. Clear that out. You're getting tired. You're getting sluggish. Then you're getting hyper because insulin came out. Now you want to eat again. And the cycle goes on and on.
Wow.
On the flip side, and yes, you finished a pack of crackers by the time.
The whole sleeve. I can eat a whole sleeve.
That's right. And you're still hungry after that.
Yes, absolutely. You're absolutely right. And still want something else.
You still want something else. Now let's take a nutritious meal, like say a salad.
A salad.
Let's take a salad, for example. Now, not just any salad, but let's take, a wholesome salad, like the salads we have at thatsaladlady.com. So you go and you add a good set of leafy greens to it. You bring some non-starchy vegetables in there because the blood sugar spikes are less likely to come with that. You put a protein on top of that because our body needs that. You throw some good fat in there in the form of a full fat dressing. Yes, I said full fat dressing.
Okay.
Felicia, that's going into your question as well as we talk about the Mediterranean diet. But you put all that goodness into that bowl and then you eat it. What happens? I'm tired of eating this. Okay, I quit. It's not that it was bad. It actually was very good because what it did was satiate your body and gave you everything you needed. And then the end of the story is you could stop eating now, put the fork down. What is another thing that came with the salad? You ate slowly.
Yeah.
You did all those mindful eating practices I'm talking about. You ate slowly. You had to chew because you can't really go down with one like that. And at the end of the day, your body got what it needed. It's processing the foods perfectly, and you will not be hungry. You will not be hungry.
All right. So what do you have for Felicia with this Mediterranean diet?
So I believe the Mediterranean, I'm so biased. Let me go ahead and preface it. I'm so biased. I believe the Mediterranean diet is the most perfect diet that we have available to us.
Wow. Okay.
Now, I don't like to call it a diet. I like to call it an eating style because it's really not a diet. What Mediterranean eating does is it basically puts plants at the forefront of the diet. So whole foods, I won't just say plants, but our whole foods are whole foods that come from plants. So that includes not only vegetables and fruits, but it also includes whole grains. It also includes our beans, legumes, and lentils, or our legumes, which is our beans, peas, and lentils. Okay. But the power of the Mediterranean diet is the fat that it includes. Now, this is something to your earlier question. The myth that goes, I know where it came from. That's a whole nother show. But fat has become the enemy. Okay. When people hear fat, they run away. Right. And we have all this low fat, no fat stuff. And what we have actually done is taken away a very valuable nutrient that not only makes foods taste good, hint, you want to eat better foods when they have real good fat on it. And I'm not talking about the stuff that's in fast food. I'm talking about our extra virgin olive oils, our salmon, our other oily fish, our nuts, our seeds, the stuff that's packed full of good fat, avocado, olives in general, the stuff that keeps us full. You believe it or not, those things keep you full. But here's the most powerful thing about fat and why the Mediterranean diet works. The fat in those foods actually helps your body absorb certain nutrients housed in other foods. They're called fat soluble vitamins. These are
Okay.
A, D, E, and K. So here's way to explain it. Anytime something contains vitamins A, D, E, and K, it needs fat to process it.
Okay.
It
Okay.
just so happens that vegetables are rich, very rich in vitamins A, in vitamins E, and some of them in vitamin K. If you put a low fat dressing on a, say, salad, what do you think is going to happen? You're not going to get those nutrients in those
Right.
foods that you're eating to be nutritious. And so what the Mediterranean diet does is everything you eat, or that eating style, you're basically adding a wholesome fat to every single meal you eat. Whether you eat one meal a day, yes, we can eat one meal a day. Whether you eat 10 meals a day, if they're very small, as long as you have fat combined with something else wholesome that contains those fat soluble vitamins, you are feeding your body and giving it good nutrition.
Wow. Listen, guys, this is valuable information that we pay a whole lot of money to get, especially
Yeah.
especially one-on-one. I'm telling you. So listen, take it in, go back. This it's gonna be on YouTube, it's gonna be on Facebook Live. Go back and revisit it, listen to it. Also, you'll see scrolling across the screen how you can reach out and we're going to move right to that Salad Lady University, because I don't want us to run out of time without really hitting that. But you can contact Dr. Nina. Her website is there. So please write, the email is there. Write that information down. Follow up. Your health is worth it. Whatever you need to do to remain healthy and to get healthier, it is worth it. But let's talk about that salad lady, because that salad lady is not who you were when I met you.
No.
So let's talk about that evolution.
So
and who she is today.
Honestly, the shortest way to answer this question, because it is loaded, but the shortest way to answer it is in an academic setting. So I was a research professor and a research scientist. And so in an academic setting, I was basically vetting lifestyle interventions for chronic disease prevention. So I would examine exercise. I would examine the influence of diet, and also the influences of holistic modalities, hence the clinical massage therapy and other forms of body work. And basically what I did in that environment is I became frustrated, because at the end of the day, I wanted to do one thing and I ended up just vetting things and trying to get grants for them. And I really didn't feel like I was making any real change. And so I went ahead and swapped, which is around the time I met you, Pastor Faye. But I went ahead and swapped and went from making kind of the health outreach something thing I did on the side to about 50% of what I did on the side. And what I also did along with that was I would consult for big businesses in basically incorporating healthy living into worksite wellness programs, that sort of thing. But as I'm doing all of this, I became increasingly frustrated with the mismatched claims and the myths and all of this stuff that was continuing to go out there. You know, I would see, especially as social media grew. As social media grew, I would see a person, they're like, oh, I lost X amount of pounds with this, and now I can show you how to do it. Buy my meal. And I got so sick of that. I was like, are people really? I mean, really? But then I thought about it. I said, how would you know? You know, if you don't have a degree in nutrition or any degree related to health, how would you know? You know, what's bad or what's good or what's, you know, not effective. And so as I'm doing all of this, you know, I'm an avid salad maker. You know, I'm obsessed with salad bowls and all the creations that you can make with them. I love the notion of food art and artistic art with salads. And so what, as fate would have it, around in 2020, my husband bought me this really beautiful wooden salad bowl for Christmas. And I kid you not, I got excited as if I had received a expensive thing of expensive or a handbag. And I just immediately started thinking about all this stuff I can put in this bowl. This is a true story. I thought about it. I said, I need to bring my bowl to other people's homes and teach them how to make their own bowls. Because one of the reasons I love salad making is I just kind of explained it in the context of talking about nutrition. Every single bowl is an opportunity. Every single bowl. is an opportunity to build layers and add layers and more layers of nutrition for whole life wellness. So that salad lady is not just about salads. It's really about building your bowl and your life together. And so from that salad lady, which started out as thatsaladlady.com, we have a nutrition glossary, recipes, but also healthy living blogs and just different tips and tricks to help you do that, building your bowl for your life. But I wanted to take it a step further because naturally I ended up getting dozens upon dozens upon dozens of emails like, yeah, are you taking clients though? And obviously knowing that I couldn't help everyone that way, I created the university, which just recently launched, so that I can reach more people. So in that, you're getting live meal prep sessions where we talk about bowl building for optimal wellness. You're getting webinars where we talk about more broad topics, weight loss, disease prevention, self-care, really coupling all of the different, levels of expertise I have. And you're getting live Q&As very similar to what we're doing here, as well as study guides and seasonal guides. The one seasonal guide that's coming out for the holidays is how to help you navigate the holidays.
Okay, that's a great one. That's a great one.
So that, that's really what it's all about. I can't reach everybody, but I'm doing my best to reach as many people as possible.
I love this because and this is something that I think is really significant for me. Is I believe that all of us want to look our best, but this is more than cosmetic.
Yes, it is. It's much.
It is much more than cosmetic. This is about your wellness, about your longevity, about your ability to finish your course, to finish strong. I'm writing a devotional about that for Monday that will go out to people about finishing strong. And we know that as we age, that our bodies are these bodies were not built to last forever.
They were
not.
But
I am determined that I'm going to be as healthy as I can for as long as I can. And those things that self-sabotage that I have been guilty of most of my life out of ignorance, I'm going to fix it, and I'm going to ask, and I'm going to learn, and I'm going to do better for myself because I want to honor God. I want to honor my life, and I want to make as much of an impact as I can. When you're sick and broken down, you can't enjoy anything. Not your children, your grandchildren, nothing. It doesn't matter what you have.
For. Basically, everything you've worked for.
Everything.
So what you described so eloquently can be summed up in one word. And it was actually, I mentioned to you when we were talking before, my very first publication, which is very popular, Successful Aging. It's all centered on health span, something called health span. So we think about lifespan. That's the number of years we're going to live. We're going to live. We're going to die. That's just a part of life. But within that lifespan, how many of those years are you actually healthy and performing at an optimal level and really experiencing real joy in your life? I use my father for an example, who did pass away at 73. But my father was very untraditional in thinking. He kind of protested the idea of taking medications and all these things, but he also was very active, very loving. My father was an evangelist as well. And he was just he was almost more maternal than paternal in his love.
Okay.
So I tell people oftentimes, I believe that the thing that killed my father was stress. It was not eating or anything. He was a caregiver to my mom. But here's the deal. My father, who listened to every single thing I say, if I told my father, Dad, you need to eat grass at least 5 times a day, he'd be like, I got my bucket of grass and I'm going to eat. He would. He ate whole garlic because I told him to help use garlic, for blood pressure management. Wheatgrass, just anything I told him to eat, he would do. But one of the things he told me, and he says he was sharing this information with me, he told everyone else, but he told me, and I'm the youngest, he said, when I die, I don't want any medications or anything. It's going to be real natural causes. And I mean that. And so when we were faced with keeping my father on the machine because he had a stroke, I said, he wants to go. What's going to happen is he's either going to be motivated to stay here or he's not. But that's his choice.
Right.
But
Right.
whenever I talk about health span, I talk about my father, because in 73 years of life, he was sick for 6 months. Now
Wow.
that's a health span.
That's a health span.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a health span. And that's versus someone being sick. I love my mother. My mother has been in poor health for 25 years.
Wow.
And she continues to live thanks to modern medicine and her own motivation, because she's a firecracker.
Yeah.
But the thing is, even now, this is another thing I encourage Pastor Faye. My mother is actually mentally in the best state of health that she's ever been, because I believe she's getting it now. And it's never too late. That's the beautiful thing about health span.
Right.
You can change it at any point in your life. But obviously, the earlier you go ahead and make those efforts to change, the more you're going to extend that health span.
Right. Wow. The time goes so quickly. I knew we were going to need a part 2. And that's fine.
Right.
And that's fine. So listen, if you are interested, if you've never been in a university, you can join that Salad Lady University. I think you said the first 50 people get a deep discount. It's something like $30 a month or something.
$29.99. And when I'm telling you, the deep discount, because we're vetting this thing, and honestly, the first 50 people are getting the most of me, because I'm using your input to make it perfect. Yeah. Not be perfect, but I'm shooting towards perfect.
I'm telling you, I am registering for the university today. So you get guidance on meal prep, you get blogs, you get nutrition coaching and information. Listen, if you are serious about your health and you really want to live your lifespan, as Dr. Nina has said, to be longer, healthier, better, invest in yourself. I really want to encourage us to do that, to share this information with other people. All you have to do on Facebook is just hit share. Share it with, we all know people. I have people in my family who are truly, when you talk about morbidly obese, I mean, to the point where they are almost immobile, and it's sad, younger than me. And it's sad.
Yeah.
So we can, as our bishop always says, we can flip the cone. We can turn this thing around and begin today. Today is the day to start, to think differently, to make some different choices, to develop some better habits. Before we have to get out of here for today, if you have any final questions for Dr. Nina today, we're going to bring her back. I promise you, we're going to bring her back, because this was just too short. I try to keep it about 45 minutes because I know it's Saturday afternoon and people have other stuff to do. But you guys have really hung in there and hung out with us today. If you have any final questions for Dr. Nina, drop them in the chat right now. We're going to give her the final word. We're going to wrap it up. But I want to encourage you to take down this information that you see scrolling across there. Go to her website, sign up for that Salad Lady University. I'm really excited about that, because I really want to learn about the different layers. I love what you're saying. And I've looked at some of your videos where you're making these salads. And I'm telling you, I just want to reach right through the screen and grab it, because it is so, people say you eat with your eyes. I'm telling you, they are beautiful. And they're the whole deal. They have everything that you need from a nutrition standpoint without being harmful. And I think that is just worth its weight in gold. I see people from all over. I see New Jersey in the house. I see my friend Mary Pugh from Delaware. I see Pastor Tony Graham up in Tallahassee. I see my nephew down in South Florida. Listen, I appreciate you guys being here this afternoon. You have really hung in and hung out. There's my good girl, Barbara Thomas. What can I do with medication weight such as steroid?
That is one I can totally relate to. So when it comes to the steroid medication, my mother was on that for years. That's actually what caused her to, when it was unregulated, it actually triggered her diabetes, unfortunately, because it used to be unregulated, pretty unregulated as far as, how doctors would give it to you. One of the main things that I emphasize when you're on a medication like that is to really monitor your carbohydrate intake, because what's happening is you're actually getting this kind of abnormal response between your insulin, the way your insulin and glucose communicates, just because of the medication. So what you really want to do is focus on, I'm not saying you have to go on a ketogenic diet and just knock out carbs altogether, but I don't want to get too technical and start kind of sounding prescriptive, but you definitely want to keep your carbohydrate intake at a little less than maybe 150 grams a day or somewhere around there, and really watch your sugars, because the main issue with those medications is how they start to trigger. If you've ever heard of insulin resistance or insulin insensitivity, that's connected to those medications. So it's really, in a nutshell, amongst many other things, but in large part due to inadequate carbohydrate metabolism. So I hope that answers that question.
All right, great. Hey, Elder Wanda Holmes in Atlanta. I see my friend Mary Pugh has a question about, she loves a good salad, but prefers hot food.
I'm not going to answer that question, Mary. I'm going to challenge you to go to thatsaladlady.com. And I'm going to also challenge you to check out some of the videos we have on Instagram, and we have on even TikTok and other social media channels. And I say this because these salads are not what you think they are.
They're not. They're not. And they're not necessarily cold.
No, they're not. So, we make hot ones too. And here's the deal. Here's the beautiful thing about salads. And Pastor Faye, I'm so glad she asked that, because I'm going to have to answer that question as well.
Absolutely.
This is so much more than salads. At That Salad Lady University, we take a salad-centric approach to healthy eating. So that's
why you have to be in the university, because it really is an education.
So whether you're building, one of my favorite hot salads, Mary, is chili. Yes, chili can be a salad, because it's all about what you're building your bowl with. So that is an example of really adding some of the same layers you would use in a salad into more of a hot dish. And so again, don't let the salad fool you. They don't have to be raw. They can be cooked as well. It's really all about that salad-centric approach, but you got to join the university to get what I mean on that. 100%.
Oh gosh, this has been so good. Nina, I'm going to have my assistant get with you, and we're going to schedule another date to come back. So listen, guys, share the information. Go to the website, thatsaladlady.com. Check it out and see what she is really doing. It is, I told her yesterday, as we just chatted a bit before today, that is genius. It really is. And I am really, it is genius. And I am really excited to be able to share this with you guys. Listen, I unapologetically am committed to there are so many women who look like us, who are doing so many great things, and too many of us don't know about them. And so that's the whole basis of Achiever Spotlight. Since August, we have had some phenomenal women. You can go back and check them out. We had Lisa Baker, who is the founder of Ascentum, which is an executive coaching and financial management company. Leslie Sherrod, an award-winning author of Christian fiction, JMG Academy. These three women founded a training school for training people to be good caregivers and to get certified as CNAs and all of that. Donna Banks, who is the founder of the Fresh Book Festival. Sherelle Carper, who is the president of the National Association of Negro Business and Professional Women. And now Dr. Nina Cherie Franklin, and the hits just keep on coming.
That was listen to follow.
No, oh my sweetheart, you absolutely held your own, not to worry. So listen, I appreciate you guys for being here. Stay connected. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook, get on our mailing list, because I have another whole list. We have some under 40s who are going to blow your mind. Nina just made it over. But we thank you. So let you have the final remarks today. Say whatever you want to about your business, about whatever is on your heart, and we will close for today. But she'll be back in the very near future.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the invite once again, Pastor Faye. It is always a pleasure to talk to you. And I
Absolutely.
just really encourage everyone, even if you have not made up your mind about that Salad Lady University, take advantage of everything that we give out for free at thatsaladlady.com and the social media channels, because really, I just to emphasize again, I kind of alluded to that with Mary, it's so much more than just salad making. It's about literally building your bowl in your life with food, with nutrition, with mental health management, with everything, with exercise, so some of everything, because really the goal is to keep that machine running, as Pastor Faye said, for a very long time. So definitely check us out on all the social media channels. I think we have them kind of listed here, but that's Salad Lady. And again, if you're interested in the university, we would love to have you. And so you can learn more, very hands-on, and I think you'll have a great time, a very good time. Regardless.
Get in now while you can, because I envision that there will come a time when you will want to get in and can. I believe so much in what you're doing, Nina.
I receive that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me tell you something. I am a woman of faith, and I see the future, and I see greater is coming, because it is so spot on. It's not, smoke and mirrors. It's not a silver bullet. It's not a magic pill. It's a very doable, practical approach to your life. It's about living a way that prolongs a healthy life. And that I think we all can benefit from that. So again, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you, Nina. And we will get you set up again. Have a great rest of your afternoon, everybody.
Take care.